Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you are on this insidious, vilish, nasty planet. Now, I've just been watching a YouTube video by David Lynn, the pastor based in Canada. And I think it was a couple of weeks ago, he was arrested in the gay village. I think it was in Toronto. I'm not sure, but anyway, he was arrested in that area by a gay. Well, probably most of the policemen must have been gay. Police people must have been gay, but certainly one of them was definitely a gay police officer. He had on his lapel and on his shirt, his uniform. Um, you know, badges of the so-called rainbow flag. What is an officer doing with that on his uniform? Yet, if a Christian police officer was to put a little symbol of a cross on his lapel or on himself, he would be told to take it off. Why is it that a gay police officer is allowed to put that on his uniform? You're supposed to be impartial. Clearly shows that the gay community are not impartial. The gay community are showing themselves to be very, very evil indeed. Okay? They are showing themselves to be very, very nasty. They're not showing themselves in the good light at all. You know. So when I see that Israel, I've seen the video and it's Israel Folau's GoFundMe has been not boycotted. It has been stopped by GoFundMe. They refunded every single person who had contributed to his legal fees. That's outrageous. Why is GoFundMe taking sides? It's supposed to be neutral. This is all this for me. This is good in a number of levels, because at some point or other, the government are going to have to bring out legislation and are going to have to start regulating all these far left-wing tech companies. Patreon is another example. Now GoFundMe has put its hat in the ring and shown that it's far left. PayPal has been doing this as well. Some of the other banks, Coots has done this, targeting Christians, targeting people who are, is it liberal? Certainly, definitely conservatives and those on to the right. But the good thing about this is all this nastiness that's coming out from these bastards, what it will do is literally kickstart people into setting up their own servers, setting up their own banks for people who have the opposing view. Because you can no longer rely on these bastards, these tech companies, Google, YouTube, Facebook. Look at I can't remember his name now. I can't remember his name because I can't stand him so much. But Facebook is now going into cryptocurrency. Holy sweet Christmas. Have you now seen the people that are backing him in the Libra cryptocurrency? PayPal, Visa, MasterCard. Holy shit. And I think they've paid are going to pay $10 million each to be part of this consortium. And this just those three. Those three are huge, big hitters in the financial world. He only needs really those three, but he's got more that'll be backing him. A lot more. So they are now going to go after the cryptocurrency financial market. They are going to be the controllers of it. But getting back to this GoFundMe situation, which I will be boycotting, they shouldn't be getting involved in this. This is outrageous that they've literally refunded everybody who handed their money over for his legal fees. Now they're entitled to do that. No one can stop them at the moment. But this is ridiculous. I mean, this guy's not a Nazi. Okay? And even if he was a Nazi, if he's going about his business privately, what's the case? Are we going to start getting hold of people who are on the far right and string them up? Because you'll be doing what was done in the 30s and the 40s and, by people like the Ku Klux Klan, people like the Nazis. We don't want to be going back that route. We have to have a higher standard of thinking, of thought. And what I'm seeing is this is the new modern day witch hunt from the left. Unbelievable. The new modern day witch hunt. So I was doing a search on what was going on with this GoFundMe for Israel Folau, and I put his name in, and suddenly I see this where it says, backers show faith in Folau as $1 million rolls in. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I've been feeling not depressed. I mean, there's so many more important things in this world. Annoyed, really aggravated, really annoyed. What are Christians doing to fight and stand up against this evilness? There has to come a point where you cannot keep turning the other cheek. God needs to know that Christians have to start and must be able to defend themselves, must fight back. They will show compassion. Those people on the left who follow Satan and are not Christians and are pure evil, they won't show you any compassion. But Christians need to take up arms, perhaps physically, if need be, to defend themselves and to defend their faith. So, let's scroll down and see what is said here. Religious leaders have rallied behind sacked rugby player Israel Folau as financial support for the former Wallabies' legal battle last night crashed through the $1 million mark. Via a fresh fundraising site set up by the Australian Christian Lobby. Fantastic. We've got to stop. We can't just sit back anymore. Christians across the world, this is serious. We have to support this guy. I'm going to go to that place and I'm going to donate some money. I haven't got a lot. I'm going to donate £10 to this cause. When I finish this video, I'm going to go to that site and I'm going to donate £10 because this is great. We now know this is fantastic that we've got a place where we can go, and other Christian sites need to be doing the same. The Catholic Church needs to get involved now. It has the power. It has its own bank. Okay, let's start setting up GoFundMe's type sites that are not going to be controlled by these evil people who are on the left. It really does warm the heart that the Christians are now. This is good. So the Anglican Archbishop of Sydney, Glenn Davis, said the attacks leveled at Folau for his religious beliefs smacks of a new and ugly Australia where dissent from narrow cultural views is not tolerated absolutely correct. The clear support of ordinary Christians has been ignored, marginalized, and silenced. Many commentators and many politicians have failed to understand the precious nature of conscience and belief. Well, I said that, I might have said that wrong. But anyway, you understand. And its power in the life of ordinary Australians. Loud, intolerant voices swamp the quiet faith of many. Absolutely correct. In the UK, when the referendum in Scotland, the loudest voices were screaming and shouting for the yes vote to devolve from England. And they were the ones that were making the most noises. They were screaming, they were shouting, we must disconnect ourselves from Britain. But the quiet majority went about their business. And then when the result came out, I was floored. Literally, I was absolutely shocked. It was 55% no, they wanted to stay with Britain. 45% wanted to leave. I honestly thought it was a misprint, and I thought it was the other way around. Because of the amount of noise that the yes vote to leave Britain were making. So this is another situation where ordinary people, quiet people, are going about their business, okay, and get marginalized, getting bullied, and being silenced. The moderator of the NSW Presbyterian Church warned the relentless attacks on Folau by politicians, big business, and the media were driving dissent underground and making people angry that they were being disrespected. Absolutely correct. People in my constituency are frightened at what has happened to him. Absolutely correct. We are all worried. I'm worried what is going to happen to this young man. Because at the end of the day now, I think Sky may be supporting Australia. I'm not sure. I hope they are. So maybe one day he'll be able to go and commentate on there. But you know what? Yeah, I mean, we just don't know. Maybe, because he's lost his job to play. You've got some of these stupid twats in the team who've stated they won't play with him because of his views. It's unbelievable. They worry about what will happen if they post maybe Christmas, Jesus came for you on their Facebook. Are they going to lose their job? David Lynn stated that when he was working for, I think Canada's one of the biggest telecommunications company in Canada, and at his cubicle, he had a few verses on his desk, like a lot of people do. They put, thing. He was told to take them down. He had a Bible on his desk. He was told to remove his Bible. He was taken. I mean, I can't remember fully what he said, but I think he was called into HR, and given a warning and things like this. So when women put up naked men, up to their torso on their cubicle, nobody is going to say a word. But if a bloke was to do that, in the old days they used to do that in the 70s. Guys used to put up, page 3 girls on their cubicle and etc. etc. No way can you do that today. No way. But women can. They can put up pictures of shirtless men on their cubicles, and nobody's going to do anything. Nobody. There's a story. When I used to work for a company, we used to be in this basement area, and it was guys. It was just guys working. And then one day, there was a new manager that was appointed, And we worked in a telecommunication company, and we used to install systems and move lines and shift lines and all that kind of business. So in this room, there used to be about, I don't know, 15 guys or so used to come in every morning to log in, pick up their work, because they had to be seen from logging in from a particular building on the network. So once they were seen on the network, yeah, they've come in on time. So she took over, and when she came in, the first thing that she obviously saw this page three girl on the window. It was inside the room. Customers were not allowed into the area. It was a building that all of us, all the telecom engineers used to, go to in the morning. And this was in the early 2000, about 2002, 2001. And she came in and she saw it. And the first thing she did, mid-sentence, she stopped, went across, and took the poster off the wall, scratched it up, and threw it in the bin in front of all these guys. And it was, I mean, to be honest with you, I wasn't there at the time. It was a room that I used to go to, and I was told that by the guys. I said, wow. There wasn't anything they could do because she was the manager. She was a manager above them. And then she just carried on talking. I'm here to look after your needs and blah, blah, blah. So she was clearly making a point. That was it, I wonder what she would have done if it had been a bloke on there with his shirt off. I wonder if she would have been so quick. The hypocrisy that is in this world today, in the West, is unbelievable. And I believe that something's got to give. But as I said before, this is a good kick up the arse for conservatives. They no longer can rely on these bastards on the left, these bastards from Silicon Valley and all these who are bringing out these tech. They now have to, set up their own servers, their own websites, their own, fund campaigns that are not connected to these bastards. They have to set up their own banking systems. The Catholic Church has a banking system. Why hasn't it done something to use that banking system so that, for across the world, to be fair and neutral? So they said people in the congregation are frightened at what's happened to him. They worry and see, people have said things like Merry Christmas. Now they don't even, in America, they say Happy Hanukkah at Christmas time. Happy holidays. So they can say Happy Hanukkah, but they can't say Happy Christmas. You just say Happy Holidays. And then he has some, I can't remember, some African nonsense called Kabunda. I don't know what it is. But they won't say Happy Christmas. There's a concerted effort to wipe out Christianity. Extraordinary. The comments came a day after the US site GoFundMe pulled the plug on Folau's funding pitch, claiming his homophobic views were a violation of company's values. This is not acceptable. This is just not acceptable. Okay, the Christians have got to start, setting up their own businesses. Christian businessmen or men of just, or people of fair-minded people should look at this and say, this is wrong. This is not acceptable. Look at the gentleman who, was it Java? Or was it who invented, I think it was Java Java, who invented that language, the language Java. And he donated, I think, $800 or $1,000 to a campaign to to campaign against same-sex marriage at the time. And his donation receipt had been leaked by obviously someone in the organization within whatever. Sorry, I don't know within the organization, but certainly somewhere his information had got out, and he ended up losing his job, or he ended up having to resign. Was it Go Java, or was it Mozilla? So even in private, if you're of someone of prominence and you have an opposing view, and you work for a company, if it's not your own company, you could find yourself out on your ear. We now, people, if you're good, a person of good standing, of good thinking, whether you're straight, whether you're homosexual, if you think that this is right, what's going on, for someone just saying something, and then to be attacked in this way, now he can't use GoFundMe. They've completely refunded everybody their money. That's outrageous, absolutely outrageous. So these stupid twats have claiming his homophobic views were a violation of the company's values. What values are that? Evil and corrupt, nasty bastards that you are. According to the ACL, the decision. Great. Now listen to this. According to the ACL, the decision by GoFundMe had proved an accidental PR triumph for Folau, dramatically expanding his support base as a rush of outraged donors flocked to the new fundraising site yesterday. Yes. So, as they say, bad publicity can always be good. Fantastic. So it's backfired on them, the bunch of wankers. It's backfired on them. The ACL, which is handling the new legal war chest for Folau, said the swell of donors in the last 12 hours had been so phenomenal, the fund was expected to reach 1.5 million by this morning, double the amount raised on GoFundMe in 4 days. While the goal on the GoFundMe site was to gather a 3 million war chest, employment lawyers told the Australian, that's the newspaper, the cost of funding Folau's contract dispute in the federal court would have generally cost between 400,000 to 500,000. At worst, costs could reach 1.5 million if Folau lost his case and fought his matter in the High Court. God Almighty! Let's get 100 million for this guy. Let's get 100 million. Okay, that prompted the ACL to insist that once the fund reaches 1.5 million, there should be a full review of likely legal fees in a bid to ensure no excessive donations to the fund were expected. Sorry, who are the ACL? ACO. Is that the Australian Christian lobby? I don't know. I don't know who the ACL is. That's the fund. Anyway, let's continue because right, the president of the Law Council of Australia, Arthur Moses, good Christian surname, said last night that given the legal battle was in essence a contract dispute, at first blush, the 3 million seems rather excessive. Right, so is that, what does he mean by that? Oh, is that what the legal fees they're charging, or charging for the Australian courts, or whatever it is, $3 million? What do you expect? They want to make it as difficult as possible for this guy and hope that he'll drop it. All the nasty, you know, how can I put it? The propaganda. There are people probably in there who are, wanting to put blocks on this in any way they possibly can. That's how evil this world that we live in today. The West is in end times. That's it, plain and simple, with this kind of nonsense. He also said the courts and the justice system had yet to grapple with the ethical issues raised by the crowdfunding litigation. Mr. Folau has the right to bring whatever case he is properly advised to bring, Mr. Moses said. The concern is to ensure nothing is said that that induces the public to donate money based on a misunderstanding of what the case is about and what it will achieve. Prominent Labour. So what he's basically saying, the public mustn't be told, they must be given the full facts. Of course they must be given the full facts. But a lot of people don't care. They know what the full facts are. They're going to denote money regardless. Because this man has been taken to court. Needs to take the Australian, the rugby union to court, period. Because he was dismissed wrongly. Prominent Labour left front bencher. Oh, here we go. Here's the twats coming out of the woodwork now. And same-sex marriage supporter, I'm not even bothered saying his name, also came to Folau's aid yesterday, slamming the US side and Australian rugby for shunning Folau for his religious beliefs. Okay. Right. Let's continue. Mr. Jones, MP for the NSW federal seat of Whitlam, said that while he didn't support Folau's stance on homosexuality, it's not his stance, you wanker. It's what's stated in the Bible. He's reading what's there in the Bible. If you follow the scriptures of the Bible, you would know. The footballers' religious views are what multiculturalism looks like. It's not just let me just start again. It is not just about having a wide variety of interesting food and interesting dances and costumes. Actually, it is more than that. It's about people's cultures and faiths and all that interacting with others. Yeah, correct. Mr. Jones, who described himself as a proud Labour lefty and one of the biggest supporters of same-sex marriage, called for a more civil, mature, honest debate rather than just shutting down Folau because oh God, I don't really want to read this, but anyway, because he offended some of our deeply held views. Former president of the Australian Human Rights Commission, Gillian Triggs, I think that said Folau was entitled to his religious views. He's entitled to his religious views, but you've kicked him out on his ear. It's foolish and disproportionate to prevent him from preaching something that he believes, he said, she told the ABC yesterday. One source from the Folau camp told the Australian the former Wallaby was feeling incredibly humbled and grateful for the outpouring support. By God. I'm telling you, this guy must be going through hell with all the nonsense that's been going on. And he's you know, like me, you know, I'm a avid, rugby is my number one game, has always been from when I was a young boy. I love the game to the core of my being. And I'm sure, you know, he's played both the Code Rugby League, Rugby Union. That's a great honor. And when I played, I feel it was an honor to play the game, because a lot of kids played football and that was it. They didn't have, you know, I went to a school in the north that used to be a grammar school. And the one thing I noticed about grammar schools and so-called comprehensive schools, certainly modern day comprehensives, the things that school did, the discipline that was there was completely to that of modern day, you know, grammar schools. You know, you see kids who go to today's grammar schools, they wear the uniforms, they correctly, girls mustn't wear makeup, they must be on, you know, sort of, there's just discipline. The quality of the schooling there and the teaching there are so far, far better than that of comprehensive. Kids turn up wearing jeans and tracksuit tops and bottoms and whatever they want to wear. And, you know, I went to a school that played rugby. And when I left that school to another school that had not, didn't play rugby and it was just football, I didn't play for 3 years until I went to college, and then played at college. And it was fantastic to get back into that because there wasn't a lot of places. I didn't know as a young man where to go to play rugby. So I was so happy. I remember I was on the bus, and I could see the rugby post when I was going to first day of college. And the first thing that I did, I went into that college and I went straight to the gym, sport, you know, the gyms that are in college. And I looked around, I was standing by the main big gym, and I then saw the board, and I went to the board and it said something, oh, new players required, come for gym practice at 1 o'clock or whatever it was. So I thought, right, okay. And I came back at 1 o'clock, looked around for the, you know, the main guy, found him, and then I was playing on that pitch for the trials, got in, and it was great feeling to be back in playing rugby. So, sorry, let me get back to this. I'm just pontificating. So here we go. So he's been, you know, he's been humbled by the support, not just for those who share his beliefs, but from those Australians who want to stand with him on the right to freedom of religion. Exactly. So there's going to be atheists out there. There are going to be just ordinary persons. They're not Christians. They don't go, but they just see what is going as a totally unfair. Okay. Those are people that are the quiet ones. They keep back. They don't say anything, but they're very angry within themselves. The ACL managing director said Folau was feeling the weight of being the target of growing hostility from activists who will not give up. Of course they won't give up. They're bastards. They're pushed by the devil within themselves. That's why they have that energy, that evil energy coursing through them. They won't stop. But he said Folau's situation had also unleashed the long suppressed frustration and distress of many Australian Christians. We see there Mr. Donald Trump, who found themselves increasingly targeted for their faith, especially in the workplace. Mr. Isles said, in the past 2 years, the ACL had been involved in more than 60 legal disputes in which Christian workers had faced discrimination. Holy sweet Christmas. What is going on? Including being subjected to suspicious and unfair sackings because their fellow workers were uncomfortable with their religious beliefs. Holy gosh. So you can walk into a workplace with a cross on your neck and they'll automatically see you're a Christian. Or you walk into a place and then they'll be questioning you like bastards do when you start in work. You know, you've got to get to know this, the office twat who thinks they don't own the business. They don't even really run the business, but they'll be there buzzing around, poking their nose into other people's business. That's why I'm so happy. I love working for myself so that I have to work with bastards like that out there who consistently are in the workplace. They deem to own the business and they are going around a complete nasty busybodies as they are. They find out you're Christian before you know it. They're going running to HR. This person's a Christian. We want them out of this office. We can't handle them. Unbelievable. Uncomfortable with their religious beliefs. What are you talking about? He said doctors, teachers, counsellors were especially vulnerable to discrimination because of their religious beliefs. Holy shit. So if a doctor is treating someone and a woman is wearing a cross around her neck, a guy's wearing a cross around his neck, and an evil Satanist comes in and I don't want you to treat me. I don't want you to put your hands on me because you're a Christian. Didn't that happen? I mean, I don't know if that definitely isn't the case, but in the UK, I heard in the 60s, 50s and 60s, when black nurses came and went into the NHS, white people actively said, no, I don't want to be treated by him. Oh, please, no, I don't want to touch him. I don't want to touch him with my black hands, which is understandable. If you've never seen a black person before, I mean, it's new. It's frightening if you don't and not seen a person before, especially when you come from a society that was in those days quite dominant in the world. Britain was quite dominant in the world, and so the working man and woman here in Britain never seen a black person, never touched a black person. It's understandable, but now we're seeing this is the new racism that's occurring in the society that we live. This is racism, discrimination that is being done to Christians. The religion that provided all the democracy and most of it and the way of thinking that we have today, and now the evil harpies, the devils are out there using it against good, upstanding Christians. Mr. Folau must win this case. And he must continue to go at the Australian Rugby Union. I mean, apart from that, it's good for us as an England supporter. This has got to be disrupting their preparations for the Rugby World Cup this year. So let's wait and see. But it is heartening, and it's great to see. And as I say, I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to go to the website, and I'm going to donate money, £10, to their cause right now. So if you can, let's have a look who the Australian, see who it is. Australian Christian Lobby. Let's see if we can find them now. Let's do a search. Right, Australian Christian Lobby. They've been going for quite a few years. 1995. Woo. Let's click on there. Oh, right. So this, I don't want to do that now, but let me see if I can. There's a chat bot. Can I help you? No. Let's see if we can do a donation. Oh, sorry. God, help God makes true. Let me just do a back on there. Support Israel. Oh, there he is. So let's do, click on that. And I'm going to do 10. I don't know if I can. I mean, let's see. I think, oh, this guy here. I've seen a few of his videos. He's fantastic. All right. It doesn't look like in, oh, come on, man. You should, actually, info payment. Okay, so maybe later on I can do a PayPal. Anyway, look, I'm going to do this. And this guy here has been fantastic. I've seen him on his, because I recognized the logo before, this logo, and I didn't realize it was him. Well done. So that's fantastic. So if you get the time, please go to this page and donate what you can. Every little counts. They've already got $5.5 million, Australian dollars, that is, which is fantastic. Let's just cover quick how you can support. Recently, the online fundraising platform GoFundMe shut down Israel Folau's legal defense fund and turned away hundreds of thousands of dollars in donation. Good business, mate. Good business, because it actually has helped good publicity. On behalf of the Australian Christian lobby, I have spoken to Israel Folau to let him know that ACL will be donating 100 grand to his legal defense because it's right and it sets an important legal precedent. I have also offered to host his online appeal for funds here on our website, and he has accepted our offer. Fantastic. This guy is a top man. This guy is a top quality Christian man. I have also offered to host his online appeal for funds here on our website. Oh, yes, sorry, I've already read that. All gifts you give on this website will be deposited into a trust. Into a trust account to pay for Israel Folau's legal case. So please give generously today to help Israel Folau stand for his religious freedom. Absolutely correct. Please, people, if you can do just to know a pound, 50p, if you're in the UK, just look at that. It's gone over 1.5 million already. Fantastic, fantastic. So he got even more than on this dumbass, go fund me. Hopefully, this will really cripple them. As I said, David Linney, he's no longer going to be using GoFundMe. I suggest David Linney gets onto these people, the Australian Christian lobby. Hopefully, they'll be able to help him as well. But Christians everywhere must support. All Christians out there, we must support. So anyway, whatever you do, please support these guys and all Christians everywhere across the world. Thank you very much for listening. Good day.